Go back to the main political story of the afternoon. COGTA delegates refusing to allow the ANC chair, the Energy Minister, Mantashe, to speak. In the last few moments, he's responded to this, saying that this has been a stage-managed protest. Well, let's go to political analyst Khanya Vilakazi at the University of Mpumalanga. Khanya, good afternoon to you. When you have COGTA members, workers, literally preventing the chair of the governing party from speaking, what does that tell us about how workers are feeling towards the ANC at the moment?
I think it's a travesty when you see a former leader of COGTA, who has led in COGTA, now leading in the ANC, being booed in this manner. No matter the rhetoric that he can come up with, I think it's a resounding rejection by the workers because of the current economic climate in which workers find themselves in under this administration.
It's also, I mean, there's so much happening within the ANC at the moment and so much pressure on whoever would be in government. When you don't increase wages, when you have an acrimonious relationship as an employer, I suppose workers may see the ANC as the employer. Whether they are or not doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is very true, Stephen. I think COGTA jumping onto the tripartite alliance, it weakened its power in terms of pressuring workers, employers, both at a private and at a public sphere, because they now believed that the ANC will push through their agenda for workers. But in the current dispensation, I think there's been a breakdown in terms of workers getting employed and the working conditions that workers find themselves in currently.
In the meantime, I mean, I mentioned there's a lot of politics going on. We've got the ANC leadership race. We have an interview given to the public broadcaster, the SABC, over the weekend by Dr Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, in which she suggested that she believed the step-aside rule was wrong in the ANC. We have the ANC in eThekwini, and I suspect the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, both going to back, it seems, Dr Zweli MKhize as leader of the ANC. Is this race taking shape? I mean, are we beginning to sort of see who the front-runners are?
Yes, I think there are two issues that we have to deal with, Stephen. The first one is the fact that Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma has been silent for the past 5 years. Nobody knows her political stance. Only now, in the 11th hour, does she show her true hand. And I think by doing so, she is literally at the back foot of any campaign that could actually propel her to any position in the top 6, because she has been quite silent. But on the issue of Dr. Zweli MKhize, I think it's one of a chess move by both the eThekwini region and KwaZulu-Natal as a voting bloc, because just pronouncing on him and Paul Mashatile as a deputy of this perceived slate, then will give KZN the power to not only just wait and bargain with the 800 plus delegates, but to see who else wants to be on a similar ticket.
At the same time, I mean, MKhize, sure, we all know him, former health minister, but I mean, digital vibes, and can he really escape that? I mean, it keeps coming back to the same thing. If he's on an ANC election poster in 2024, what happens?
Well, I think as the sentiments around the country is actually quite stronger against the incumbents, because the ANC ought to ask itself, what has the incumbent president of the ANC done for the ANC? In the past 2 elections that he has been at the helm, what has been achieved by the ANC? And if it's nothing, then I think a change in personnel could bear fruits for the ANC. However, since Dr. MKhize has not been charged and he's challenging the findings of the SIU report, then I think we ought to assume his innocence until proven guilty.
At the same time, formally, most of the provincial leadership still seem to be backing the incumbent, despite Phala Phala.
Well, yeah, that's another thing, Stephen. If the current president ascends to power yet again in December, does the ANC have a full backing of him carrying them forward in the 2024 elections. Because the sentiments around the country is everybody, including people in the ANC, are somewhat not happy. We shouldn't look at provincial structures that constitutes of about 30 members as the voice of the regions and the individual wards and delegates that emanate from these wards.
Khanya Vilakazi, thank you, political analyst at the University of Mpumalanga. Lots more to talk about. I'm sure we'll be speaking about it.